Northern System and Plants, NSP, includes St Fergus Gas Terminal and FNGL, Fife Natural Gas Liquids Plant. The gas from offshore comes in at St Fergus, it is processed and then transported by pipeline down to Mossmorton. Mossmorton then separates the NGLs into ethane, propane, butane and gasoline, which is then taken down to Brayfoot Bay by pipeline and exported by ship. As we work with gas, the hazards and risks on site are quite high, and we do quite a lot of work during construction and maintenance on live systems.
When we started the mine safety journey in NSP, I think there were three things that were very clear. First of all, we had a wonderful sense of community on our sites, and that was a great strength. Secondly, our safety performance was good, but not great. And thirdly, we did see that we had issues which related mainly to behaviours, and to be perfectly honest, they were at all levels in the organisation.
One of the main things for mine safety with me on the site is it's improved the communication between the workforce and the supervisors, management as well, because there's a lot of times when the information wasn't passed back and forth, and it was creating a kind of a divide between the workforce and the supervisors. Now everybody's kind of looking at themselves and trying harder to work together.
When I joined the plant at the end of 2009, it occurred to me there was a real opportunity to change the safety culture and get everybody thinking positively about safety. We set about then developing a program of systematic change, which was to do two things. Firstly, take everybody in the plant through a head-turning session to make them think positively about safety and reinforce some of the positive beliefs that we should have. And we did that with a bit of theatre, a bit of science and a bit of fun. We then followed that up with a series of leadership sessions, working with the leaders and the managers on the plants to look at how they can positively influence the groups of people below them.
I've been a safety rep here at Mossmorton now for 5 years, and I'm passionate about safety. I volunteered straight away to become a coach. The beauty of mine safety and the reason that it works is that it not only helps us in our working environment, but in our day-to-day lives.
There are many principles of mine safety which cover all the belief-based aspects. For example, the average conscious mind capacity of 7 + -2. As the conscious mind is continuously filling up with new information, it reaches full capacity and stored information is forced out. The understanding of average capacity gives us a cause for immediate corrective action. Therefore, when a hazard is identified, we deal with it straight away, but only if safe to do so. If we do not carry this out immediately, then there's a greater potential for the conscious mind to let us down and the risk of accidents is increased.
An example of alpha sleep in your day-to-day work. We usually talk about the painter, his thought process. So he'll come in the morning, he'll set up his gear, and his first thought is we dip the paintbrush in and we start to go. The first thought that goes through, that's a lovely colour of paint, that this is going to look nice in our living room. I'll have to speak to the wife about that. The second dip in with the brush, and his second thought is, this paint's going on very easy, I'm going to be finished this job very, very soon. Dips the third time in, the third thought is, he's gone. He'll continue around the room painting until he comes back to the beginning again, and because he's in alpha sleep, he's going to trip over his tools.
Internal optimist. I'll be okay. I've done this job for years and I've never had an accident. How many times have you said those words to yourself in your head? We all have our own habits and beliefs based on our own personal experiences throughout both our private and our working lives. Sometimes this can produce bad habits and beliefs, which could lead to behaviours which ultimately could result in an accident.
It isn't just on site that we adopt mine safety principles, we can adopt them in the kitchen area as well. For instance, 20-second scan when carrying hot food from one part of the kitchen to another, or serving at the hot plate stand.
When I first arrived at the site, I had no knowledge of mine safety or what it involved. The induction I had was like an aha moment going off in my head of the importance of mine safety and the themes and principles of mine safety. This is a fundamental change from the safety that I'd experienced in previous roles in Shell. This had been very process orientated. In my experience, this has been a big success. Fundamental is the help we get from the mine safety coaches, leadership and management to make it happen.
The coaches play a very important role on the site. They will be the engine room. We lacked a bit of confidence to start with because not much involvement with the senior management, but as the programme has built on, they have grown in confidence, which is good for the site. As a follow-up and to keep the Mind Safety programme going, we have arranged for weekly meetings and monthly meetings with the workforce, again just to iron out any concerns and to keep the programme moving forward.
I've been fortunate enough to be the manager at both plants at NSP, and I've helped promote it at St Fergus and at the Fife NGL plant. And I think it's a really positive programme. It's the first one where I think we've resonated with the workforce. They're quite comfortable intervening, and it's improved the communications. I think we've seen the benefits to overall safety of our people. Our staff now feel that they can come in, raise concerns, and most importantly, they go home injury-free.
The valuable outcome from mine safety is that people now take responsibility for their own health and safety as much as being directed by the company. My first action now in walking into any kind of environment is to scan the area, identify the hazards, determine what risks I might have and what actions need to be done to protect myself. Wandering around the site here on a daily basis, people now will not walk blindly into an area to carry out whatever function they were going to do. They will now check that that area is safe, and I think the outcome of that is a much higher standard and a much friendlier way of operating health and safety on the site.
Every morning we talk about mine safety. It's good to start the day on a positive note. It focuses you on the job at hand, doing 20-second scans on how to stay safe. It keeps spirits up and makes safety positive. In the future, who knows, I might even become a mine safety coach.
We're constantly looking at different ways of promoting this positive message through monthly themes and mind triggers. And we're encouraging all employees to play their part through feedback and interaction. Gone are the days when we let safety take a back seat, and we will keep up promoting this positive safety message. Everyone going home in the same condition as they arrive is the least that we all deserve.
I think we now have a wonderful, positive safety culture on site. And I think finally we've got this great foundation to build an ongoing future. And I have to say, I feel very privileged to have been a part of this.
All the guys look forward to the new MindSafety monthly theme as it helps us stay safe.
So let's keep up the good work. Safety matters to all of us.
So stay safe and go home safe.
And we're off.